certain things. So you guys should be able to see me in there, red, orange, and yellow guy. So I normally make the joke if you were a bridal party that I'm the hottest thing inside the frame right now. So I'll take away her modesty and we'll kind of go back and forth a little bit, but my wife does hate that joke. But we're looking for blue and black. Those are going to be your cold areas. So we're looking for it to take shape or to start moving on its own. When I say take shape, I want a head, shoulders, moving arms, and legs. Like that's what we've caught it with this camera in the past, and I want it to be completely cold. I'm normally looking for 15 plus degree temperature drops. We're starting off with an 87 degree temperature out here. Doesn't feel like it because it's not very humid, but that means anything that is what, 73 degrees and below, 72 degrees and below is what I'll be looking for. There's also a blue dot bouncing around the screen to show you the coldest spot in the frame at that moment. So it's going to bounce around the screen. It's there to help guide your eye when you guys get your video back, looking for that 72 degrees or colder. Of course, the temperature is going to drop as we move through the night, and it'll drop by a good 5 degrees. So again, I kind of gauge that as we move throughout the evening. But does this capture something every single night? Not necessarily, but when it does, it is a holy cow moment. I'm just going to put it out there. We get probably about 6 or 7 really solid pieces out of this per year, where it's a full figure or a cold spot that cannot be explained. So, although this... All right, so welcome to a parking lot. Congratulations, you made it. Told you, I'm taking you to weird spots. But this place used to be something relevant to the history of Charleston. For those of you who are going to be using communication devices, which looks like everybody's going to be jumping in, especially with yours, Sarah, because it's open speaker. This is where I start withholding information on purpose. You're not going to know everything that I know about the space, and I'm not going to give you questions like what color was George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there with the big red barn. So kind of keep that in mind. You're going to get the answers from those devices. So, what is this place? This used to be the Eliza and Charles Pinckney mansion. Their mansion actually sat in the front of this space where the 2 cars are parked up there. And that was kind of like the carriage house. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant and came all the way across to about where we're standing right here. And then the servant and slave quarters were in the back of the space. It actually overlapped the median that we currently have, but we're talking about something that's 300 years old. So, who the heck were these people? Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Chucks, in case you lost count. That's why we look for those secondary clues. I need to know that if Chase hears the name Charles, which one we're actually talking to. So that way we wait for that secondary clue to solidify and verify who it is. But the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. It's not a big deal for me, or I hate politics. Like it's a big deal for South Carolinians because this is where these people were raised. But I hate politics, and we're actually going to move on. Do me a favor on yours, Rachel. Go ahead and stop your recording for just a minute, and then swipe left.
Am I going the wrong way?
I want you to be green with a purple stick figure. So
Seen anything in yours then?
There we go.
Oh, okay.
The reason why, it kind of gives us a little bit of a night vision feel, and then I also use a fashion tan, which looks purple, and I don't like to intermix the two, so that way you're not going to be looking at that.
Okay, weird word.
Start tomorrow.
Eliza, we're staying tonight. So that's what I'm looking for. So I will be writing that one down once I get through the history, just because you actually heard something. Moving forward, I may only write down the things that you hear that are relevant, but I want to make sure you guys are getting the gist of how to use these devices. Yeah. So we're going to talk about Eliza instead, because again, I hate politics and I want to talk about the Constitution all night long, and neither do you. So let's talk about Eliza. She married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. If the two of you are going to be asking Eliza how old she was when she got married, back in the 1700s, girls got married when they were like 12 and 14. That's not the age yet, right? So you would be
married.
But don't think of those type of numbers. Think of today's standards of when people get married. The reason I bring that up is because her husband was over double her age when they married. There was a creepy age gap back then, creepy age gap now. So just kind of putting that thought process in the back of your brain. But anyway, she married him because her father was over in England, where Eliza's from, where her family's from anyway. And the father thought he was dying. He's trying to bring all of his children home one last time so he can see them. Eliza didn't believe he was dying. She stayed put, got married. It's 1744. You don't get married in that year to get a green card because we're not a country yet. She did marry him out of love, and there's no foul play here. No love affairs, no cheating, nothing like that. This is a true love story, so don't poke the bear when you guys are out there asking questions. Anyway, back to Eliza. She was right. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her apologetic gifts to where we're standing right now. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. Eliza loved botany. It was a big deal for her. What the heck is indigo? You guys have been in town for at least a day that I know of. You've seen the word indigo, but it's a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. Somebody's got it on. I'm guaranteeing it. Nobody's got it on tonight?
Nope.
Holy cow.
Too hot for that stuff.
And I am also the only one wearing pants. Look at me.
You were smart because I'm getting beaten by a little
That's exactly why I still wear pants in the summertime. No. Well, I guess because, I mean, my ankles get really bad. So, like, they go straight after my ankles, and I'm doing this, and I'm telling you guys history, and I'm like, it just looks bad. So I just learned to wear pants all the time. Back to Eliza. So when she got the seeds, she didn't know what to do with them. She had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it cultivated, because it's not always hot here, believe it or not. It actually gets pretty cold. And yes, I'm from the north, and it gets cold down here. I know what cold feels like. But anyway, once she learned how to make the dye, she moved it to a cash crop, got a hold of her dad, and said, rice plantations are going downhill. We're going to make a killing with this indigo. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. Something absolutely unheard of. Women did not run businesses in the 1700s. So, I know, right? A lot of girl power here. So, that's the boring business stuff. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys are all here. So we're going to keep it nice and simple, because we're only using 2 communication devices tonight. So yours only gives us like 1 to 2 syllable answers, because it's taking out a lot of that static. So you're going to go after the mansion's not here anymore. So find out what happened to it by asking Eliza directly. If you get the what, it normally will give you the date. So 2 out of the 3 numbers will show up. So it's obviously the month, the day, and the year. So again, I also want you to, both of you, keep in mind, don't get discouraged if you're asking questions, or anybody for that matter. Just keep in mind, we also have 2 video recorders going, plus my voice recorder. That answer can go anywhere, which is why I always, even when I have a small group of 2 or 3 people, there's always 2 pieces of communication. I want to see where it's going to land. So if you get, something that's weird, he may have asked a question about what happened to the mansion, so forth and so on. You're getting my point, even though those are your questions. You can also go after the marriage questions, how old she was, how old Charles was, or how long they were married. So we're going to keep yours nice and simple. Chase, with yours?
It just went way up.
How high?
Oh, it just went to 64 and now back down to 60.
Nope, those are solar.
Gotcha.
They do not create EMF.
Really?
64, and even if it did, it's not going to go all the way to 60.
It was a 64.4 and now it's back down to 0.
And that's how it goes.
Did you see anything on it?
I did not. I want to move it.
That's the beauty of your view. So, with yours, you're going to go after Eliza's death.
All right.
So, 4 major questions that we get answers to. How old she was when she died. What did she die from? Where she's buried. What president was a pallbearer at her funeral? Sorry, I had to stop and think about that one for a second. Because there's other questions that we can normally ask, but we're still pretty close to a tragic date of the family, so we're going to just stay clear of it. The only thing I'm going to ask is do not ask about Eliza's children. Please stay away from that whole topic altogether. I'll explain why before we leave the space. So, we're going to get you unmuted, so go ahead and get that button smacked. Have you heard anything else?
Let's see.
Besides start tomorrow?
Is it this button right here?
It's the only button there.
Probably hard to try to say that and this at the same time. Right?
There you go.
So Brad, you didn't get any reading when she had that at all?
No, I didn't see it.
And that's how it works. Like, if it goes all the way that high, it's going to go away real fast, and that's the anomalous thing that we're looking for. Otherwise, if it was staying out, just keep in mind there's people going to their car, Rachel. There you go.
I saw her.
Okay.
Down.
You're down? Okay.
Okay. And that's what you want. So that's the radio station. Just kind of think of the car, where you kind of like hit that tune button on a radio in the car. Have you ever done that before? Where you just skip through all of them trying to find a good signal? That's what this is trying to do. So it's just doing it, I set it up to do it all on its own, so you don't have to worry about holding a button or anything like that. It's just doing it auto, and hopefully you're only going to get words out of it. There's a little voice. So again, it's not all going to be tangible, where you can actually hear it physically and clearly. You're looking for those things that look clear. And don't second guess yourself. Whatever you hear is what you hear. You can hear the word tornado, and I want to know that you heard the word tornado. Even though you don't feel like it's relevant to the space, it might be weird, but we're going to take it as, what do I need to know about tornadoes? So, the beauty about, I do want you to also stick, am I getting the dynamic right here from mom, dad, kid? Yeah. Okay. Sometimes you guys bring nieces, I don't know who's who.
You got it right.
If you stay close to mom while she's recording, it will pick up the audio from your spirit box in case you're missing it. So that way it'll just be on the audio the same way. What do you got?
Went up to 20. Now it's not back down.
Okay, so your baseline at this point on yours is going to be, we're just going to keep it at that 20.
Oh, really?
So we're going to keep escalating it up until, because I don't want a whole notebook full of numbers. If you get my point. But I'll take a 20 for sure, but anything above a 20, we're just going to keep it moving up. So Brad, you still got nothing?
Nope, I was right here too, just looking at that.
And you guys, what's that?
Okay, so you're supposed to ask questions like, what year did she die?
Did you get the 4 questions?
Let's see, there's one that's wrong. You want me to listen to?
And I'm just going to kind of follow you because you're asking questions and I might get the cold stuff, all right? I think it's kind of creepy to film other blocks.
Like, where were the dots and where did it lie?
Right.
Or you
I mean, it wasn't human mind, it was just
and more than likely just picking up. I will also tell you when I talked to the developer of the map, and I want to make sure it's legit. Again, you guys have seen the big giant.
Right.
Right. This is using Apple LiDAR technology. And I asked them, like, hey, how does this work? Because they're always going to try to make a picture out of it. What that way is that they pull on it. Or space kind of thing. To scatter the street. So that's why it's a lot of democracy. Hello.
I should have put some of their bug spray on. Seeing anything?
There's no right or wrong way to do this. This is how this is going to go all night long, by the way. Like, this is, we're not going anywhere malevolent, we're not going anywhere dark, or games, or antique traders. Like, again, this is ghost hunting, real history, real people. So, yeah, there's really nothing to be scared of. That's what Paul was saying. Like, yeah, there's certain places around town I won't take you. I'm listening to that as a talk about, sorry, train here, but this for decades. Yeah, I don't think you guys are safe places.
Chase, come this way. Go that way.
You're supposed to tell them, dude.
Watch that pole. Are you asking questions?
Oh, just went up to an 81.
After I hit triple G, let me know.
Okay.
We're going to see your baseline. So it's 50 at this point.
Okay.
It's crazy.
I heard. Hey.
What you got?
We got, I heard. Anything else? On board. Yeah, on board.
I heard. None of this is making sense to me. They're getting the gist of how to listen to it. That's the whole purpose of this location. This location is super active.
Really?
If you can't catch anything here, like there's an issue.
Device?
With the person.
Yes,
Well, I'm a spirit box wise, not the EMF wise.
I'm just blessed.
The spirit box, again, this is a very active.
It's fascinating. It's like the first one I was kind of watching closely. It's getting crazy.
Gist of it now. With your camera, you can always follow up with your camera in real time because it's small. I send those videos to YouTube so you guys can watch them on your TV, and I watch them on a pretty large computer screen. So if I'm talking to the communication devices more than I am to you, that's the reason why. Because I'm going to spot check this guy like crazy. I want to get back to the office.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing anything like crazy temperature-wise.
Yeah. And again, it's not always a real-time catch.
Yeah,
I'll be
it's,
honest.
you know, I'm at 79 degrees and there's a puddle right there.
Yeah, we've never, in the 4 years I've been giving the tour and using this device, I've never had something caught in real time to the point where we couldn't debunk it in real time, like very quickly, other than one time, and that was literally like 3 years ago, about a year into when I started doing this with you guys.
Okay.
But again, that was really the only time where I was like, holy shit, like there's a lot going on over here. He also heard alarm. We got it, because he also heard it. Hopefully Eliza is alone, because Chuck likes to get in my way. She actually did die alone. It's good that she's getting terms out of that thing. That's not an easy one to use.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I only expect people to get like 15 to 20 terms all night long. She's already given me like 5.
So when she asks a question, before she asks a question, is she just hearing like static?
Jeff. I don't know if that counts.
Jeff?
I don't know who Jeff is, but I'm going to write it down. So when they're asking questions, and again, some people are uncomfortable asking questions to people that can't see. So she literally asked, Eliza, can you tell me how long you were married? And she had a direct 14. And that's the exact number of years that she was married to Charles before he died.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's a direct answer.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to take that as like, holy cow. It might even be disembodied, but hopefully she was close enough to the other camera for me to be able to listen to it to kind of judge it that way.
Here I am.
With his.
Here I am. You just
Here I am. And did you get a spike?
I thought, I don't know if it was 125 or 12.5. Sorry, because I looked down and it went away real quick.
Way to do your job, MARIFRAN.
Shut up.
No, she's.
How much have you seen on your thing?
Just a cold car.
Let me see what's going on.
Maybe they have roosters. It was a farm, right?
About.
Definitely getting more down here than that way.
Back to where we started, and I'll give all the answers. Go ahead and stop your video if you want, Paul. Give your hands a break. Hopefully you're going to turn on your voice recorders from your phones to listen to later. Just keep in mind, every local knows this story. Anybody that walks up and down Cumberland, the street we came in on, or Queen Street, throws a whistle down the alley. I do it every night. So I'm just one of those guys, especially since I got thrown out of here. We're going to talk about that in just a minute, because that's the fun part of the story. But anyway, again, they also say, by the way, it's always this quiet. Even with the air conditioners running, sometimes those can get a little loud, but that's literally the only sound you're going to hear. On a busy Saturday afternoon, it sounds like this. I don't know why or how, but it is kind of creepy and eerie. It was also one of the most beautiful areas we have in all of Charleston. So if you're a picture taker, night or day, it's perfectly lit for all types of photos. I told you my wife went to school for photography. That's exactly why she loves to come down here. We kind of debunked a lot of the lighting and the light flares and those kind of things that were coming from other different styles of camera. But anyway, here's how I got booted out of here. So listen up, if keep you guys out of trouble. Chase is like, nope, I'm paying attention to my spirit box. This alley didn't go all the way through that way the way we came in. There was a wall up there. The reason why is because this is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. This was once called Cow Alley. So again, just imagine, all the cows, chickens, and sheep were all down in here. And so again, this was when Charlestown was the walled city, so it was much smaller than what you guys see now. But anyway, that means the bricks on that side are older than the ones we're standing on because they were laid first. Those bricks on the other side are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there, along with some fingerprint swipes on others. I used to take my group all the way through here and show it off, simply because we all need to see that brick and show how far we've actually come away from slavery. However, I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. That kid's not there. That's the last place you're going to find him. November 26th of 2020, my entire group of 10 is huddled around that brick waiting for something to happen with the devices I handed out. I know nothing's going to happen, so I'm trying to shoo them along, and it's also outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm also just trying to be respectful, not realizing I was out of bounds for tours. So I still have to follow tourism laws, even though I don't like calling this a tour. However, the new owner of the mansion came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because she was on the tour that night and her dad's getting yelled at. Of course, that's always a good time, right? So we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. You guys all know I worked in retail management for Walmart for a good part of 20 years. I don't work Thanksgiving ever. Again. So you guys get it. Paul's laughing. He's a poor guy. But anyway.
That's who I work for.
Is it really?
Yep.
What do you do there?
I'm a program manager.
Okay, so at least you're not in the stores. Yeah, I was a co-manager.
And, not in the stores. Yeah. What I build relays back to stores.
Gotcha. So anyway, the next day after that was November 28th. The date's irrelevant, I'm going to get to that. But anyway, I called my partner that I told you guys about earlier. And I told him what happened. He's like, dude, you're not allowed to go down far. He's laughing at me too. And he's like, you're only allowed to go down halfway. The rest of it's residential. It's out of bounds for you. So I basically had to reroute my group that night. So what I told them is I don't believe in the next story because I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. If you haven't picked up, we're talking pirates next. But anyways, before we left, somebody hears the name Anne on a spirit box. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be investigating. The famous female pirate Anne Bonny. So, okay, maybe we got something. We get over there, I told them what little bit I did know about pirates, which wasn't much because I only had one day to do quick research. And somebody else hears the number 300. I don't know what that means, I write it down. Turns out, we were there on November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720. The exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. You guys were looking at me like, oh, that's really cool. I was pissed. Let me tell you why. I already told you I have a master's degree in creative writing. I still need facts and data in order to be able to investigate and write stories. However, pirate stories are based off of pirate lore because the written part of it happened 100 years after it actually occurred. So we don't know how true it actually is. I've read more damn books on pirates than I ever wanted to in my entire life, trying to make sure what we're going to be talking about is legit. I'm also going to tell you, this is another reason why I like to do the bleed over with this one to the next, is because that's a hit or miss location. Anne Bonny is said to be seen all over town. And I'm going to tell you why we're going to be at that specific location once we get there. So hopefully we get things from both the pirate story and the dueling story when we're over there. The gate, before we leave, I know it gets warm down here. I try to breeze through this in the summertime. This gate wasn't always here, but the archway was. Remember I told you that the alley didn't go all the way through this way? So in the event there was a loser to the duel, they had to go all the way down to Queen Street and then double back to get to the cemetery that's on the other side of this wall. So they created this archway to be able to have a shortcut to go drop the body off so they can go celebrate the winner. The wrought iron was probably put here in the early 1900s, but you can definitely tell where the archway is definitely an original part of the wall. So not a whole lot of people know why this archway is here. It's just an easement now because this is now church property. So once you step on this step, it belongs to the church. So that's just the courtyard that they use for weddings and receptions and that kind of thing on the weekends. But again, it's always locked, so we can't go through it. But let's go learn about some crazy rated R pirates, and I want you to unmute along the way, so that way you can hear what the heck's going on. Have you heard anything while we've been? It was like the pass through here, which is exactly what I like to bring us to the back. Just to kind of stay out of everybody's way.
Split?
Everybody's here too. What'd you get?
Split. It's telling everybody else to split.
Yeah.
Either that or you guys just split.
Oh.
These things can happen to real-time events
Emerald.
too.
I just heard emerald. Like a gem. Which is green. Which is green.
And we're discussing pirates.
Maybe the pirates have to split. with the emerald.
I was just thinking.
Emerald greens.
Yeah, the emerald booty.
Interesting. All right. Unfortunately, Sarah, it's muted down. At least for 5. We'll be able to explore the space. So, by the way, you guys got this chance to see how big our tours can actually get, which I'm sure you were allowed to go to 20 when you were doing this, right? Right, Fran?
What?
You were going up to 20 people.
Oh, we had even more than that sometimes.
Well, our city limit is 20 per group.
Oh, okay.
Unless you have, like, if it's a school project, you got to have 1 guide per 20 people, even students. And there's some weekends where I see there's 25 to 28 people in some of these groups.
Yeah.
And I could very well turn them in if I was a jerk, but again, I'm doing what I need to do, so I'm fine.
Right, yeah.
But anyway, I already don't have friends in this industry.
You got the one guy.
Yeah, you're one friend.
You told us about the one guy.
Well, that's only because he contacted me about my podcast, because he was doing something on his podcast, and we just kind of became loose friends that way. So we still email each other and call each other and text, and just kind of keep in touch. Because he's been doing it like 28 years. So if I have a question about like a tourism law that just came out or something, I just get in touch with him. Like, what's going on with this? Give me the skinny. But anyway, welcome to the Powder Magazine. We're going to be discussing that little tiny building over there with the crosses on it. First off, those are not crosses. So if you guys didn't take any carriage rides and don't know what those are, they're earthquake bolts. Earthquake bolts basically run all the way through the roof, and they're turnbuckles. It looks just like that on the other side. If we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886, which we have not, you can turn those turnbuckles and tighten it, so it tightens up the building so it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. Californians laugh their asses off at me every time I tell them about this, because they know it doesn't work. It's an old method. The reason I bring those up is because it's part of the reason why we're here. Those are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. The reason why is because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. That building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny came here to start a new life, which is why we're here. You guys all watch the TV shows where they use that Boo Buddy, teddy bear, with the EMF detector in it and may talk back to you? And that's so that way the child that they're trying to get in touch with has something to recognize. Same principle. Anne Bonny would recognize this building because it's still original from her time period. We do not have many buildings this old, which is why we're here. So hopefully she's going to be here in the same 15 to 20 minutes that we're going to be investigating. Let's get into her history. First off, you need to know that the building took 10 years to build, and our story begins right in the middle of it. Does that sound like our government, by the way? Small building, 10 years? No, not at all. I'll answer for you. It's fine. But anyway, 1708. Try to follow me. There's a lot of twists here, and I will slow down on the twists so that way you guys grab them, because we're talking about a pretty raunchy female pirate here. So here's how it goes. Young lady moves here from Ireland. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Are you guys with me so far?
Yes.
Rachel, you got it?
Yeah, that's just watching me.
Oh, I was like, wait a minute. By the way, her name is Anne Cormac at this time. But anyway, they come here because they're running away from her father's angry wife. So how mad was the wife that they booted them out of the country, basically? So, and then had to land here by boat. There was no planes back then. But anyway, they land in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. So if you have an idea, Dad bought a plantation. Mom dies pretty quickly. That means Dad is sending young Anne down here to sell anything from that plantation to help keep things afloat. Hence the familiar building. That's why she said she's seen all over town. Anyway, back in Ireland, they say she was a badass even back then. At the age of 7, 8, 9 years old, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. Notice I gave you 3 ages there, 7, 8, 9, because it's pirate lore. Nothing is ever going to be exact unless it's on parchment. So, fast forward, the building's done in 1713. By 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is stoked. Why? She's going to fall in love with one of these pirates so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. It's a man's world at this point. So, first guy she falls in love with, and yes, I said first because there's a lot of gentlemen here that we're going to discuss, and that's what makes the story so damn interesting. First guy is James Bonny. You already see where this one's going, right? We already told you her pirate name. So, she falls in love with James. Dad didn't approve. They ran away to Jamaica. They got married. Anne Cormac is now Anne Bonny. That's where her pirate name came from. So, when she gets down there, she realizes James Bonny is not Captain Jack Sparrow, like what she was hoping. This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British. This is not who she wants. He's a coward. So, you guys okay? Oh.
Well, he's not. He's got asthma.
Okay.
No, I'm fine.
Can you sit down or anything?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. So, anyway, a few more years go by, and she falls in love again. Guy number 2. This is John Rackham. Everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy that they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case you were wondering who this guy is. Calico Jack has his own ship. He has his own crew. Anne wants to be part of that crew. You can't put a girl on a pirate ship because it's bad luck. I would normally throw that question back to you to make sure everybody's paying attention, but I guess some really raunchy answers here, and we got 2 14-year-olds that don't need to hear that stuff. So, Mom's like, I appreciate that. You're welcome. You 13. But anyway. PG-14. That's funny. So, where was I? So Jack, he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like the crew, you can be part of the crew, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world. She's okay also because she's going to be a female in his quarters. Let's all put two and two together. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You cannot have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a guy or she's a girl. Why am I getting all the genders mixed up now? But anyway, before she starts the show, he drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby here, come back later, we'll figure it out. Kind of another jerk move. I talk a lot of jerks on this tour, don't I? But anyway, so she goes and has the baby, but returns without a child. We have no idea what happened to this baby. So you can ask all you want to, I just can't prove that whatever you hear is correct. But she also comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack angry. Now the crew's going to know he let a girl on the ship. And to make him even more mad, she's going to go flirt with the pirate crew that he just captured, and they're down below deck. Guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy, to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack captured. So now we have 2 females, dressed like males, on the same ship. That's why I clarified for you. So, seen her head going like, wait a minute, what's happening? What's happening? So, this young lady's name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers. We're not going to really know for sure because it's 300 years ago. But anyway, the British find out where they are. They send a whole fleet of ships to come take down one measly little pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1-bullet flintlocks, because that's all they know how to use. Cannons are out of their question, right? So, obviously that's not going to work out. 2 ladies with flintlocks not going to take on a whole fleet of Navy ships. They get arrested. As they're being arrested, she looks at her beau and captain, Calico Jack, and she says, I'm so sorry to see you here, Jack, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog. I was waiting for you to tell me that you heard the word dog, because that does come up here often. But anyway, the judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunken pirates that wouldn't fight. The young ladies go in front and reveal their gender, and he doesn't give a shit that they're female. They're still pirates. He's going to hang them anyway. We plead our bellies, was what they shouted back to him, because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging, but Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her back home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary. We don't really know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt. Why? We don't know much about her after her pirate career. Mary Reed dies 5 months later in April of 1721 from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. Most books will tell you that it was something simple like fever. I'm going to say let's call it romanticism and make it scurvy. Why the hell not? That was April 21st, I believe was the exact date, if I'm not mistaken. It's 21st or 28th. But at any rate, so I'm not going to assign questions. I'm just going to tell you what I left out of the story so you have something to work with. I left out the name of Anne Bonny's parents. That's the father and his mistress. So you can ask Anne about those, and we commonly get the answers to it. The name of Calico Jack's ship. So I left the name of that out. The name of the city where Anne grew up in Ireland, and the color of her hair. That's an easy one. It's red. So everything else is fair game. This is not a prominent English woman that we need to tiptoe around. So again, we're going to explore the space, have some fun with this. So Brad, if you do need to sit down, there's actually a bench over there by the brick wall. You just got you. Gotcha. EMF detection, the closer you get to the bushes over there, parking meters are on the other side, 2 electrical poles in the corners. I usually look for the EMF on the back half where we're standing to kind of see what's going on with those EMF readings. So don't get excited if you get like a 3 to a 7 as you get close to those bushes. I will tell you we did also have, I think it was like a 40-something on your device just to connect you. Hopefully you get something again. All right, let's
Any other questions to ask?
Let's do this. I'm going to go to the wall and have a drink and smoke. You guys are fully trained. You know what you're doing. By the way, you guys can switch up devices as long as it stays within your family. Like, if you want to try something new, by all means, do it. Have some fun with it. Or you can work together. Chase gets some help from somebody. That's cool too.
Why don't you ask the questions, Mom?
No, keep it that good.
Why don't you ask the questions?
What was your parents' name, Anne? Yeah, I'm getting here. Hello, Anne. What were your parents named?
stop is our last location, and we do the Estes map. Are you familiar with that?
No, I don't watch any of this
Okay.
stuff. If it doesn't have a hockey
What'd you
puck
get?
in it, I don't want it.
Ginny? I don't know who Ginny is. That's weird, though. So in essence, I'm going to take Chase and blindfold him, and we're going to put noise-canceling headphones on him, and he's not going to know the history of the space. So that way, when we ask questions, he's just going to tell me exactly what he's hearing.
Okay.
And he's not going to be biased towards anything. How much?
46.
Oh, that'll be cool.
And then with what I'm going to do to Sarah, they actually created a new additive for a person that's blindfolded, but I separated because it could be a little too intense. They have an AR app, or an AI with a VR headset that'll actually create images based on the magnetometer of the phone. And they're new images every single time.
Really?
Yeah. So
And does that record that for you? Do you get to see it later?
Oh
or?
yeah. Like
Oh,
you guys
no
get all
shit.
the photos back. So
Oh,
I'm going to show
wow.
them to you after like we're done with the session.
Okay.
And then it goes into your data sheet tomorrow.
Oh,
So
sweet.
all she's going to be doing, she's going to have the VR headset on, and then she's going to be telling us what images that she's seeing and trying to describe it, and he's going to be telling us at the same time what he's hearing as I'm asking
Oh,
questions
cool.
to the ghost. So again, it's fun as hell.
All right, that would be cool.
But I always kind of like to give the parents a heads up, like, hey, I'm going to blindfold your kid.
Yeah. Thanks, appreciate that. He won't care.
Yeah, he won't. But I mean, most of the kids that watch this stuff, like he's going to be stoked.
Yeah. He's into it.
But this AI thing has literally been in the States for maybe a month. Like, that's it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, I had to have it as soon as it came out. I got a hold of the developer. It's the same developer that made the camera that Rachel's using. So I got a hold of him. I already kind of had a contact, and I kind of asked him, like, how does it work?
Okay.
Here's the funny thing. The next ghost we're going to be talking about, his name is Henry.
Oh, really?
And we're sitting here talking
Talking
about
about it, yeah.
Mike.
Bike?
Yes.
Like a bicycle?
No, and Mike.
Mike.
M-I-C-K.
That's me. I got
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
One's Irish, well, they're both Irish, I guess.
That's the other piece, too, is we're going to be going next to St. Michael's Church to talk to him.
Oh, so the fleet over.
We're a little far for
Possible.
that bleed over, but he might actually be over here. He's not a person that's going to stay put
Okay.
because he's not especially attached to that location. So he's not buried there. His house isn't there. We're going to a park. There's just a monument of him there. That's how we found all this. So he could be a floater.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
And we've seen that before, this far away, but usually if I get stuff from Eliza, like she's going to be stuck to that location.
Okay.
So we're going in the exact opposite direction to a person that's not kind of stable.
Stuck in it.
So I'm not surprised that you and I are sitting here talking about our next location, and he gets the person that we're going to be hunting down right next to St. Michael's Church. So just an interesting piece. But yeah, that AI thing, had to have it.
That's cool.
We've had nights where there were no images whatsoever.
Really?
Yeah, like 0. And I only keep them under for 10 minutes. Any more than that can be disorienting.
Yeah.
So 10 minutes, nothing. And the person with this, because I did a double blind that night. I had 2 people blindfolded. There was a large group, and I put the VR on another person. No VR at all. And then one person out of the spirit box blindfolds heard nothing at all. Nothing but complete static. I checked the spirit box. It was working fine. I get it back to the office. Working fine. He heard nothing while he was there. It was almost like Henry didn't want to talk to us at all. Like, I'm not even going to be telling Chase the guy's name.
Okay.
So keep it in the dark.
All right. Yeah, no problem.
But yeah, he's not going to know Jack. Him and
That's
Sarah are going to
awesome.
sit on a bench where we can keep an eye on him while I give you guys the rest of the adults the history.
Okay.
Like Aro or Ro? I think it was Ro because she said it like twice.
And the name Mike.
Mike.
That doesn't make any sense at all. The row doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I know it's like a piratey term, but unless you had the word like dinghy with it, that's the only. Like I just
Roger.
Roger's good. I like Roger.
Homeowners insurance.
I don't think she had that.
She may have. She didn't have a home.
Life.
She's giving us more than Chase. I might have to switch that up with
Yeah.
what I just told you.
Oh, yeah.
I did hear gold earlier.
Gold, along with your emerald. You getting the whole treasure for us?
Yeah. If she really likes money.